Echoes of the Seerah, Chapter 7, The Lion and Al-Farooq, Defenders of the Truth. As the message of Islam spread through Makkah, the Quraysh grew restless. They saw how it moved hearts, how slaves and nobles alike were drawn to its call. So they issued an order. No one is to recite it in public. Public recitation was forbidden. Anyone caught speaking its verses would be beaten. No one dared to publicly recite the Quran except the Prophet ﷺ. So the Sahaba discussed who would be there first. Among the believers was Abdullah ibn Masud, small in frame, gentle in voice, but mighty in faith. He stepped forward and said, "I will do it." They warned him, as he had no tribe to protect him, but he replied with calm certainty, "Allah will protect me." The next morning he stood before the Kaaba and began to recite Surah Al-Rahman. The crowd fell silent at first, then fury broke out. Men rushed him, striking his face, kicking him to the ground. When he returned to the believers, bruised and bleeding, he smiled and said, "By Allah, nothing has changed today, except that my contempt for the Quraysh has only increased, and I am willing to do the same tomorrow." As the persecution worsened, men were beaten until they could no longer stand, and women were dragged through the streets for refusing to abandon faith. Seeing their pain, the Prophet ﷺ said, "This land has become too constricted for you. For those who want to, why don't you immigrate to the neighboring land of Abyssinia? There is a Christian king there who is a just king, and he will allow you to worship Allah without interfering." So a small group, 12 men and 4 women, secretly left under the cover of night. Among them was Uthman ibn Affan and his wife Ruqayya, the Prophet ﷺ's daughter. But soon came a rumor Quraysh had accepted Islam. Some returned in hope, only to find it being false. The Quraysh then intensified their cruelty, attacking the Messenger ﷺ as he prayed at the Kaaba. One day Uqba ibn Abu Mu'ayt put his garment around the Prophet's neck and throttled him violently. Abu Bakr rushed forward seeing this and pushed him away, saying, "Do you want to kill a man just because he says, 'My Lord is Allah'?" On another occasion, Abu Jahl ordered that the filth and the guts of a slaughtered camel be thrown on the Prophet ﷺ while he was in sujood. Uqba volunteered and did so with his bare hands. The men around laughed until they could not breathe. Then Fatima, still a child, rushed forward to clean her father. Her small hands brushed away the filth and blood as tears fell down her cheeks. When the Prophet ﷺ finished his prayer, he raised his hands and invoked the wrath of Allah. Not long after, the Prophet ﷺ was physically assaulted again at the Kaaba, but this time it was Abu Jahl himself. Abu Jahl was in a particular foul mood this day and began hurling insults at the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ stayed silent. This frustrated Abu Jahl, and so he picked up a stone and cracked the head of the Prophet ﷺ, causing him to bleed. The blow was seen by a woman of the Banu Hashim. Although not a Muslim, she was insulted due to tribal pride, so she rushed to tell Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, the Prophet's uncle, a hunter and warrior known for his strength. When he heard what had happened, his blood began to boil. He walked straight to the Kaaba in anger, hunting bow still in his hand, and struck Abu Jahl across his face, causing blood to gush out. "How dare you insult my nephew? And I am too a follower of his religion." The crowd gasped. The warrior of Quraysh had just declared his allegiance. Hamza then returned home, confused by his own actions. He had now committed to this religion, so he made a dua to Allah for guidance and tried sleeping, but he could not. He then sought the Prophet ﷺ and spent the entire morning listening to the tenets of Islam. After hearing this, Hamza embraced Islam fully. That day, the Muslims gained a protector, the Lion of Allah. Within a few days, Umar ibn al-Khattab swore to end the Prophet ﷺ with his own hands. And this was only after Abu Jahl offered 100 of the finest camels and 1,000 pouches of silver. So with the unsheathed sword in his hand, he marched through the streets until Nuaym stopped him and asked him where he was going. Umar replied, "Enough is enough. We have been cursed for too long and our ancestors have been ridiculed. I am going to kill this man." Nuaym, who had secretly embraced Islam, tried to stop him. "If you harm him, the Banu Abd Manaf will not let you live." Then Nuaym added, If you really want to do something, go fix your own family first. Umar demanded an explanation. Nuaym then said, haven't you heard? Your own sister and brother-in-law have accepted Islam. Umar froze. Enraged, he changed direction and stormed towards his sister's home, Fatima bint al-Khattab. As he approached, he heard the verses of the Quran being recited aloud, and his rage grew. He banged on the door, demanding to be let in. Fatima quickly hid the Quran parchment, and when Umar entered, she denied that anything had been said. Both his sister and her husband continued denying until he stepped forward to punch her husband, Saeed. But Fatima came in between them and he actually struck her instead. Blood gushed from her lip. Then both Fatima and Saeed grew angry. They stood and cried out defiantly, do as you please. We have indeed accepted Islam and we believe in the Prophet ﷺ. Seeing his sister bleed and her courage, Umar's heart softened. He asked calmly what she had been reading. She hesitated, but then told him he needed to be pure to touch the Quran. So Umar washed and purified himself and then took the parchment. He read from Surah Taha, and finally Islam wholly entered his heart. Saeed, seeing the change in him, told Umar what the Prophet ﷺ was. Umar then went straight to Dar al-Akram, where the Prophet ﷺ and his companions were gathered. He knocked on the door, still unknowingly holding his sword. A companion peeked through the gap and ran back trembling, saying that Umar was outside with a sword in his hand. Hamza then said, let him in. If Allah wills good for him, he will accept Islam. And if Allah wills otherwise, the very sword he holds will be his end. The door opened, and the companions pounced on Umar, grabbing his arms and pulling him inside. He was escorted to the Prophet ﷺ and made to sit down. The Prophet ﷺ then took hold of his collar and said, O son of Al-Khattab, what are you doing here? By Allah, if you continue on this path, Allah will destroy you with this punishment. Umar replied to everyone's shock, I have come to accept Islam and believe in Allah. The Prophet ﷺ shouted, Allahu Akbar, and the room erupted in takbir. It was then the Prophet ﷺ gave him the name Al-Farooq, the one who distinguishes between right and wrong. With Hamza and Umar now standing beside the Prophet ﷺ, the believers walked out openly for the first time. 2 lines through the streets of Makkah, one led by Hamza and the other by Umar. They prayed before the Kaaba in full sight of the Quraysh. No one dared to move against them. For the first time, Islam stood tall. The weak found courage, and the Quraysh realized the message could not be crushed. Next, a door would open in a distant land. The next chapter is the migration to Abyssinia.